So, good morning, everyone. I am happy to be back with you, and I'm glad that you held down the fort while I was away. I like that. I like it a lot. And we are now in the 5th week of counting the Omer, and this is the week of Hod. And the interpretation that I've seen is that Hod is the divine qualities of glory and splendor, but it's also translated as humility, which is a little easier for me to grasp than glory and splendor. So Hod is balanced with Netzach. So just as we had Gevurah that was balanced with Chesed, so Gevurah was discipline, and Chesed is loving kindness. So you have that discipline within the loving kindness to give it some focus. You have Hod sort of balancing Netzach. So Netzach is endurance and sort of energetic response. And Hod is that the way we can keep our ego in check with our energetic response, so that we're not operating really out of ego. So it's a way to kind of monitor our motives for doing what we're doing. It requires an enormous amount of integrity, of our ability to look at ourselves and look at our own motivations. So humility really is a good way to look at this, because humility really involves getting the ego out of the way and maybe recognizing that the gifts and talents that we have are God-given, however you want to interpret God. I don't want to get sidetracked with that language. So I also have read that Hod is related to the Hebrew word Hodaya. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. And Hodaya, as I understand it, really means thank you. It's a measure of gratitude. It's an expression of gratitude. So it's gratitude for whatever it is that we have. And we don't always like what we have, but there's always some measure of gratitude in it. So if I'm kayaking and I lose my paddle, I'm going to be really upset that I lost my paddle, but I could still have gratitude that I'm in the kayak. I could have gratitude that the shoreline isn't so far away, that I'm not in rapids, so we can always find a measure of gratitude, whatever our circumstances might be. So all of this is about recognizing our qualities and strengths and acknowledging that they are divine gifts for a purpose other than satisfying our own ego needs or desires. So I want to focus on this whole sense of appreciation for what is. Appreciation, the ability to accept and receive whatever it is, whatever gets thrown our way. We've had a lot of practice with that this year. But we can think of this in terms of accepting what our thoughts are, accepting our emotions, accepting our physical sensations or limitations, accepting the sounds that are coming to us, and accepting our own foibles and the foibles of other people. So this week, the week of Hod, we focus on our capacity to accept life on its own terms, softening around our desires, our cravings, our aversions, our delusions, and our habits of wanting things to be different than they are. This week is a great time to practice accepting where we are and where others are in this lifelong journey. So it's a practice of acceptance. So for today's sit, I am going to do a bit more guidance than I generally do. And we're going to practice acceptance. So I invite you to take your seat, sitting in a relaxed yet alert position, or lying down if that's going to be better for you, or standing if that's going to be better for you. You know, there are 4 totally acceptable positions for meditating: lying down, sitting, standing, and walking. Just, that's a little aside. So now that you're in your relaxed yet alert position, I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable. If that's not comfortable, I invite you to gaze down at the floor. And let's take a few nice deep cleansing breaths. Breathing in and exhaling slowly. And again, inhaling and exhaling. And then one more time at your own pace. So let's take a couple of moments to let sounds enter our consciousness. As you're sitting, simply notice what sounds are coming to you. There's absolutely no need or advantage to identifying them. Just allow them to enter. Maybe you can notice sounds layered one on top of another. Maybe you can notice some silence between the sounds. So there's no evaluating. There's no judging. There's simply noticing the sounds in your surroundings. Accepting what is. Now let's shift and allow our physical sensations to become prominent. Again, we're simply noticing. We're not evaluating. We're not labeling. And we're not doing anything with whatever the sensation is that we feel. We're becoming aware. So maybe your attention is at your contact points with where you are sitting, where your body is touching a chair or a cushion. Maybe your attention is on the surface of your skin as the air meets the skin. Maybe you notice a sense of emptiness or fullness in your body. Maybe you're becoming aware of areas that feel tight and areas that feel loose. Simply allowing whatever sensations you become aware of to be, to not try to do anything about them. To accept them as they are. Now let's shift again and see if we can do this with our thoughts. Can we allow our thoughts to come and go without attaching to them? Can thoughts be like a leaf in a stream, just floating by, or big puffy clouds in the sky, just floating by? There's nothing to do with these thoughts. We're simply allowing them. And we can recognize that just as we are not the sounds that we hear, we are not the thoughts that we think. as you slowly and gently come back to the room, going to read a quote from Marianne Williamson from her book, Return to Love. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates us. So what's up on the screen is a button that I got many years ago in the late 1980s, and it has been on my refrigerator ever since. And I think that this is what Hod is really all about. What you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself, that's where the Netzach comes in, is your gift to God. So with that, I will turn off the stop share. I couldn't get to turn off the recording without